Hi, today we are going to be talking about the pros and cons of living in Kansas City. Moving to Kansas City. I'm Caleb Lewis, your local Kansas City realtor. Whether you're thinking of moving here in 9 to 90 days, or if you already live here and you're not in your dream home, or you want to refinance, have questions, etc., I want to be a resource for you. You can reach out to me by text or email. They're both on the screen right now. Without further ado, let's jump right in. First pro we have on our list is the cost of living. What do you mean the cost of living? Well, let's jump into it. So first I'm going to compare us to Chicago, Illinois. You can see right here on the screen. Our overall index is 87.9 and theirs is 107.4. So there's a 22.2% difference between us and Chicago. Our housing versus their housing, our housing is 195,000 versus their 291,000. Our utilities generally cost more than a lot of other places. We're generally like 5 to 15% higher. However, their transportation is 88.7 to 138.5, which is 56.1% more. And also, for some reason, their healthcare is cheaper than here. And so let's jump into San Francisco. And then obviously, if you want to check out more of our cost of living versus other places, we're almost always cheaper, but depending on where you look, we might cost more, we might cost less, depending on how metropolitan it is, and if it's on the coast, near the ocean, etc. Okay, so here's us versus San Francisco. Our overall index staying the same at 87.9. There is 244. So the difference is 177.6% more. Their groceries cost 20.5% more. Their housing is 841.9% more. So that means our median home cost is 195,000, while theirs is 1.47 million. Their utilities, like I mentioned, are less than ours, but their transportation is 78% higher, and their healthcare is 12.3% more. Okay, so the second thing we're going to be talking about is the traffic. As you can see, we have a lot of interstates. We have I-70 going through the middle. We have I-35, which kind of goes down and through the side, and then goes through Johnson County. And then we have 71, 24, and then I-435. So one of the great things about Kansas City, one of the pros I would say, is that you can get pretty much anywhere in Kansas City, like the Kansas City Metro, in probably like 15 to 20 minutes, where a lot of places, Seattle and places like that, you're kind of sitting in traffic for a long time, and Kansas City really doesn't have that I've noticed. You can generally get in and out pretty fast. There's a lot of interstates, a lot of ways to go, and so I'd say that traffic is one of the main pros of living in Kansas City. Okay, so another pro I would say that Kansas City has is that it's steeped in history. So let's take a look at some of the museums and things that are around the Kansas City area. So first up, we have the National World War I Museum and Memorial. You can kind of see it's a huge tower, and also here's the entrance down here. Another closer look at the entrance. If I'm not mistaken, you used to be able to go up to the very top of here. Not sure if you can do that anymore. I haven't been in quite some time. Here's the inside of it, some parking, and then you can see the Kansas City skyline in the background of this picture right here. Okay, so moving on to the next thing is Union Station. You can see pictures of Union Station right here. It's one of its most celebrated destinations, and there's a lot of people come here, and it's one of their things. The last thing I went to here was the Genghis Khan exhibition. They have a lot of exhibitions, and they switch them out pretty often, and then they have restaurants and shops and stuff up in there as well. There's a lot of history surrounding it. The third place we're going to look at is Nelson Atkins Museum of Art. You're going to see this particular piece of art on a lot of Kansas City stuff just because it's such an iconic piece of art history. So let's take a look at the front of the building. Then here is another piece of another picture, that piece of art. And so here's some of the inside. The courtyard, a Christmas tree, And then here's the Egyptian wing, which I want to talk about because it's very cool. But it's also, when I went, it was very cool and damp. It was just kind of a little bizarre from the rest of the thing. It was kind of darker back there as to not mess up with the stuff back there. So it's just a kind of cool piece of history. The Lumberford thing is the Jazz Museum. Here's the front of it on 18th and Vine. Here's the inside of it. And that's just some of the history that we have here in Kansas City. There's much more than that, obviously. These are just some of the brightest pieces, or the things that you might hear about first when you come here, and some of the things that you might want to check out. So let's move on to our next pro. Okay, so the next pro we have is our Parks and Rec here. We have many beautiful lakes and county parks and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to talk about 3 of those real quick that I personally really like, that you can hang out at, enjoy nature and stuff like that. Okay, so the first one we have here is Shawnee Mission Lake. You can see a picture of the water, people out there. Here's the trees. There's a lot of hiking trails through here. They have a marina where you can rent kayaks. One time I convinced my mom to go kayaking, and she absolutely loved it. So you can rent a kayak, go all over the lake, bring it back, and then go get some dinner. See, here's the person right here kayaking. There's actually a beach area if you like going to the beach. I know that's kind of crazy in the middle of Kansas, but it is an option. The next up, we got James A. Reed Park. So let's check through those pictures real fast. See, this guy caught a fish. It's just another really nice park to go to. Here's their hiking trail. Okay, and next up we have Wyandotte County Lake. Here's a map. It's pretty large. There's roads all the way around it. The orange lines are horse trails, and then there's a bunch of other trails throughout it. You can see there's a huge, huge amount of water. Let's check out the trees, because everyone wants the tree view. Not the preview, it's the tree view. So there you go. So I would say that these are just some of the great parks that we have. We have parks all over the place. We have running trails all over the place in Kansas City. And it's one of the things that I really like. It's just the chill, relaxing, good vibes of being in nature. Okay, so the next thing that I think will be a pro is that here we have all 4 seasons. If you live somewhere such as Florida or somewhere else on the coast, you might not be able to see the entire range of seasons: fall, spring, summer, winter. But here you really get to see every season. So we're just going to check out some pictures real fast of what that looks like in Kansas City. First up, we have fall. So you can see a lot of orange leaves here. I know a lot of people like looking at trees. I actually just started liking that. My grandparents used to take me all over the place as a kid looking at trees, and I didn't really understand it. But now I'm getting into the place, where I more understand it and can grasp the beauty of nature. So here's what it looks like in the fall. So let's check out what it looks in the summer. So here's a picture of the Union Station that we were talking about earlier. Here's some kids out by the water. We have a lot of festivals and things to take your kids to here in the summer. And then let's jump into spring. Spring stuff is blooming. You can see the trees are starting to get their leaves in. We have a lot of water fountains. This is part of our history. If you go down to the plaza, you will see a lot of water fountains. And that's a huge part of our Kansas City history. You can see some more flowers, and then the Kansas City Royals. And then let's check out the wintertime. So we have snow here for sure. So here's a picture of some of the snow. Here's a picture of Union Station with snow on it. A lot of pictures of Kansas City are going to have Union Station because it's such an iconic part of our history. Here's our tram system. Forget the technical term of it. But there you go. That is one of the pros I say about Kansas City. You're not going to get bored. It's like, oh, it's the same temperature all the time. We can't, play in the snow. We can't make snow angels. But also, we want it to get hot in the summer so we can cool off, with some lemonade. and then have the spring and fall to kind of balance it out. And I would say that's a pro of living in Kansas City. Okay, and then for the cons, I have two cons for you. One, our weather is very sporadic here. We obviously have tornadoes. I'm sure you've heard of that. They're not that bad, in my opinion. You'll hear a lot of Midwesterners saying that they went outside on their front porch looking for the tornado. Obviously, a lot of people are scared of them, rightfully so as well. But that's kind of a joke around here. Um, and then the other thing, that goes along with tornadoes is just saying that our weather is very sporadic here. So you'll be looking at Union Station. It's going to be looking like this in the wintertime, like February, green, everything's clear, nice weather, cloudy skies, and then boom, there's snow everywhere. And then like 3 days later, right, back to no snow, clear roads, everything, and it's just switching back and forth like this number, right? So that happens a lot. It actually snowed today as I'm recording this on February the 24th, and 2 days ago it was 60 degrees. And then I think in 3 days from now, let's check out what that would be. That would be on the 28th. It's supposed to be in the 60s again. So it's kind of one of those crazy things where you're really not sure what's going to happen. Is it going to be winter? Is it going to be summer? What's the weather going to do? So that's one of the other cons, I would say. Okay, the last thing, which is pretty obvious, but some people are still kind of wondering about, is that Kansas is very flat. There's no mountains here. There's no oceans here. There's no huge outdoor attractions here. So that's what a lot of people look for when they move somewhere, and that's something that you're not going to get here in Kansas City. So I would say that's another con. There's no mountains, no oceans, no huge outdoor attractions. So that's just another con of living in Kansas City. And that wraps up our video for today. If you have any more questions for me, or if there's any way I can help you find a house, sell a house, list a house, whatever you may want to do, or if you're looking to move here, move out of here, whatever the case may be, my number and email are on the screen. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.